What's up, everyone? So we're gonna do a little couple videos of how to drive a garbage truck, I guess. We're gonna do Corrado can, front loader, which are the same trucks, side load, which is the one on the side, obviously the arm that goes out on the side, right side and left side, and we might even do a rear load, roll off, and the bagster, or the ones that pick up the bags. Start with this. I made a list. It's paper, but we'll go off it from the video. So make sure you got your license, got your medical card before you go, hard hat, you got your gloves, steel toe boots, and your high vis vest. All right, those are the stuff you really need, and your route sheet also, obviously. Now the helpful items are sunglasses and just wires, maybe an extra battery in case the outlet doesn't work, just so you're not stranded out there. Alright, so before we get in the truck and start anything up, we're gonna do a truck pre-trip, which is for the truck. Now each truck is different, concrete's different than garbage, than flatbed. So a truck inspection is like checking the alternator, inside the engine, around making sure there's no leaks around the engine and the frame. But I'm just gonna show you the garbage truck pre-trip. So you do both when you're actually driving, but just to save some time, we're not gonna do the whole pre-trip. But basically when you're going around, just checking the lug nuts, making sure they're not loose. Hydraulic tank, make sure nothing's leaking from it. You know, you might have some small drips, but nothing's leaking. So check that. Air hoses, nothing's out of the ordinary. Check the lug nuts. So I'm not driving on the roads, so I'm not gonna really do a thorough inspection. But you know, check lug nuts. Always the simplest stuff is always the stuff that goes wrong. This is the tailgate. Make sure that it's closed, sealed. There's a seal right here. That's the black thing. You don't want, when you're closing it up, you don't want garbage being on the seal, because it could break the seal and then it can leak, you know, garbage juice and stuff. And then there's a lock. There's that chrome thing. It's called a piston, and that locks into another hole so that this doesn't bust open when you're packing the garbage. But tailgate, do the same thing on this side, and you want to always check for fuel. So basically just turn it. If you can see the fuel, obviously that's good. You never want to trust your gauge on your truck, even if it's new. They always break. There you go. DEF levels check, and that's the outside of the truck. All right, so now to turn the truck on, you have to turn the kill switch on. That turns the battery on. Walk in here. Now I'm gonna kind of just follow this too, but don't crank it all the way. Let everything do its thing. I don't know if you can hear it, but you hear it tick tick. So now that those ticks are done, because it's the computers, you know, they're setting their stuff up. So we're looking off. This is the right from the truck. It says before starting, you know, make sure the parking brake's pulled. Make sure it's in neutral. So once you're in neutral, parking brake's pulled. Computer does its thing. Fire it up. All right, we're starting up. Oil pressure's going up. So I just copied what's on the truck onto here. So turn the key, and then it says do not rev the engine above 1400 RPM, that's 1500, so a little under that. So don't rev it when the oil pressure is not basically where it is now. It's got to be above. It can't be at 0, because if it's a cold day, it'll be at 0, and you can't be revving it. Oil's got to be warmed up and lubricating and, you know, cooling down the engine. So make sure that's right. All right, so now it says check your mirrors, make sure your seat's all good. So I'm gonna lift my seat up. It says the air ride seat, so that's good. You want to check your mirrors, make sure everything's good. You know, set yourself up for success before you even leave. People that don't succeed, usually they're not setting themselves up for success. So we're gonna do that. Check the mirrors. And then we're going to, you know, basically make sure everything's set up, your drink or whatever, your wires. And then before we leave, before we pull this up and turn everything on to check if the operation of the truck is working, we got to make sure that the air brakes This does not have 30, 60, 90 PSI reading, like numbers. So once this needle is in the middle, then you're able to operate all the controls and stuff. So when the needle's on the red, the air brake's ready to pull out and, you know, build your air back up. So before we do all this and check the joystick if it's working before we leave the yard, air brake's got to be built up to, on these in the center, if there's numbers on them, 90 PSI it needs. We're gonna make sure this truck's working. Lift the emergency cutoff button, so lift it, pump on. Buttons are, they're gonna be different on all the trucks, but pump on. All right, so now we should be working, and then I'm gonna do everything for the Corrado. So this auto lift, we're gonna make sure it's on. When I hit auto lift on, that means I push the red button and I push the joystick forward. I'm gonna explain in further detail, but when that auto lift is off, the red button doesn't do anything. It becomes a front loader almost. So when auto lift is on, the red button lets everything move. And what it does is when I move the joystick, it moves the arm. I hit the button on the top and I hit it to open it up. Now I'm going to show you. When I turn this auto lift off, it's not going to automatically lift. So I'll just do that. And you just flick that and it goes up and it goes down. Now these controls are different on a front loader. On a front loader, this is up and this is down. So, you know, it takes experience, and if you haven't done it for a while, you want to make sure you're really, you want to make sure you know what you're doing before you just start hitting buttons and pressing stuff. But that's auto lift. So we're going to turn it back on. That means that the red button's going to make the arms work. Joystick works. Now we're going to pack it. Pack or extend. So the camera's not working. But basically, what that's doing, it's packing the garbage. So, you know, you can pack it and get more garbage in there. So now that works, we want to make sure the blade's all the way back. Now that works, we're going to lift this up. That goes automatically. It curves into the body because I'm holding the red button. If the auto lift is off, I'd have to bring it up and curl it in manually. You know, we're acting like this is the morning time and we're about to go on a route. So now that we know the truck works, you know, I'm gonna act like I'm turning onto a road. So we get onto a road. Before you're turning onto a road, we're looking up, left, right for wires, for basketball hoops, for tree limbs. They can be connected. So you pull into a neighborhood, excuse me. You know, we're looking up, we're looking left, we're looking right for cars. You want to set yourself up for success. Okay? So before I do this, you know, I enter the street because there's no low limbs. So before I do this, I'm gonna look up, make sure there's no wires. I say this and I'm gonna say it over and over and over because I've hit wires myself. Simply because you stop for a sec, you gotta check your phone, you gotta get a drink, and then all of a sudden you wanna just go. And you don't look up. So as you're doing this, you can snag a wire. So get out and look if you need to. It's called GOAL. It's an acronym. I didn't make it up. I've heard it from other drivers. GOAL. Get out and look. Or just poke your head out the window. Okay, so now that that's down, I made sure nothing was above me so I could bring the box down. So now as I'm going, this is the driving part. This is the actual picking the garbage up part. So I'm going to do everything basically that I wrote down here. So basically, you're pulling up at your own pace with the foot covering the brake. You know, once you get better, obviously things go faster, but foot covering the brake. This is on the left side of the truck too. Right side's different because you have a lot more vision on that side. So basically, we're going to go. Once the front of that box is parallel or whatever, it's right along with the toter, we're going to stop the truck and then we're going to do this. We're going to shoot that arm out, roll it up. I'm not hitting the gas. Roll. Shoot it out, roll. And then, you know, I've been doing this so I know I'm pretty centered, but if you need to, you can close the arms. Because see, I can roll a little more forward. Close the arms. Now that I know I'm centered, I go out. If it touches a little, that's okay. Lock. Once that's locked, you're not getting rid of it. Now I'm gonna bring it in towards the can, pull back. So that's how you do it that way, okay? So now there's garbage, so you can see there's still some garbage in there, right? I mean, I don't know if you can see, but there's some. I wasn't holding the button. Now, if I hold this button while doing it, you're able to get more of a more shaking out of it. Now, if I don't hold the button, holding the button. So, different scenarios for different customers, but that's how you do it. See, there's still garbage in there, so here's a little trick. So you bring it up, I'm gonna let it go, close it up by the base so that it doesn't squeeze it like a belt. There you go. And then, putting it back. You might have a mailbox over there. You might have a car over here. So you do not have to put it back in the same exact spot. If you need to, if you need to, you just put it down here, push it out a little bit, open it up, and then we're turning away from everything. That's how you do it. You do not need to put the can exactly back where you found it. As a trainer, I found that my drivers spend more time putting it back than doing the job, which is just emptying the can and moving on to the next customer. So getting to the can, yeah, that could take an extra 15 seconds doing the little adjustments. Putting it back, once that can's empty, job is done. Put it back, hit the gas. Okay, so now that the we emptied a bunch of garbage. Okay, let's act like this is full. There's garbage over it, okay? So we're gonna empty this can. So same thing, if you see wires above you, just roll forward, do what you gotta do. You're in a truck, all right? You're in control. Roll forward, look up, look up, look up, look up. I can't say it enough. Then auto lift is gonna be on, so just hold the red button, pull it back. Goes up. Empty. And the thing is, don't stop. Pull it back all the way until that can is in the truck. Pull it back all the way until the can is in the truck. If you stop it halfway, garbage will fall. You know, especially if it's overloaded, garbage will fall out on the sides and stuff. So do not do that. All the way back. You want to do it one motion. I'm going to stop it just so you see, but you do not want to stop like that. You want to just go all the way. All the way through. And before you shut the truck off, let it idle for at least a minute. You know, the truck says let it idle for 3 minutes, but just to let those turbos cool down and don't have a shock cool or whatever. So